Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Leslie. Good morning, Chris, Jordan, Nathan Sanford, all the way from Southern Oregon.
Morning, Nate.
Nate, I'm with you today. I'm broadcasting from Medford.
Oh, you're in town. Nice.
Town, all our Southern Oregon family. The market center is looking beautiful.
I've got appointments there on Friday for hopefully new team members to join.
I just saw Carrie's face. She's excited about that.
Yes.
Nate is doing amazing things down here. We're so excited to support him in this.
Yes.
Love
Morning,
it. Charlie, I see you too. I'm
All right.
coming to you later. Okay.
Awesome. Well, it's 9:03 and we had a 9 o'clock meeting. So Leslie and Chris, should we get started?
Let's do this thing.
Okay, well, welcome to your February State of the Industry for the Experience Brokerage Network. We are excited because we've got a powerful hour. So grab your notebook, grab your coffee. We are going to have some fun this morning. And like we usually do, we want to start by welcoming our newest family members to the Experience Brokerage Network. And that's why you always see our faces on this first slide, even though some of you guys are like, you show your face every time, you guys. It's because we have some new family members to welcome. So we want to say an official welcome to all of these names and all of these wonderful humans and business owners who have joined the Experience Brokerage Network across the state of Oregon. We are excited and honored to be your partners in business in 2023 and beyond. We have two quick housekeeping things to start you off today, and then so you have a minute to grab your coffee and your notebook and a seat before we start our powerful content. But two things that we wanted to tell you as we get started. One, Leslie, what is happening next weekend?
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it is next weekend. Family reunion back live in person in Anaheim. And there are still tickets available. So if you have thought about going to family reunion, haven't made a decision, know that you can still join us. And we have a bunch of agents from across the network joining us in Anaheim. So of course, February 18th through the 21st. If you do not yet have a ticket and you want one, reach out to Katie and I right away. We will help you get set up to join us for this awesome event that's going to go on. So next question that people have asked that I just want to make sure that we are aware of is that this family reunion is back real life and in person and will not be live broadcast. So you have to be in Anaheim to experience all the amazing content. So reach out if we can help you get set up, and we look forward to seeing all of you that have already RSVP'd at the event.
Yeah, we actually have someone who signed up yesterday. So it's really not too late. And the other thing I would add to that, Leslie, is if you are going, because we do have a number of people from the Experience Brokerage Network that are going, be on the lookout for a know before you go email from me and from the network, as we will be sharing where to find us, how to communicate with your XBN family while you're there, because we will be creating a group chat so you can grab lunch with somebody, sit next to somebody in a session, or divide and conquer on breakouts. So be on the lookout for some more content from us around family reunion if you are going. And if you're not, there's another event that is right after, and that is our Built How event that's happening in March 22nd through the 24th in Palm Springs. And remember, as a member of the Experience Brokerage Network, you have an exclusive 50% off discount to this event. So I'll put it in the chat if you're interested in signing up, but they have recently announced some amazing guest speakers. And I know there's more to come, but I love the ones already. If you went last year and you heard from Brendan Burchard, he's coming back. Will Gadara, who wrote Unreasonable Hospitality, is going to come speak. And so here's your your note to go grab the book before, so that it's a really powerful conversation. And Ben and Jerry are going to be there, you guys. So very excited to celebrate and learn and grow with you guys in March as well. So those are your upcoming events. However, today is a powerful day. So Chris, I want to pass it to you because you have a relationship with this person, and I want you to introduce who our guest speaker is today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Katie. Looking forward to seeing many of you at Family Reunion, and obviously Bill Tao. Being a vegan, why wouldn't we have Ben and Jerry's at our event? Since I don't eat their ice cream, but I do respect how they built their business. So incredible story you'll get to learn. And Will Guidara probably wrote one of my favorite books I've read in quite some time, Unreasonable Hospitality. Sort of frameworks for us as we build out a business that is a service driven business. He built the #1 restaurant in the world, finally got ranked that 11 years in. So I love his story about the long-term game. And speaking of long-term games, today I wanted to introduce our family to someone that I've respected in the industry for honestly years. Probably I've known Jeff Glover for maybe 15, 16 years, Jeff. And
2009. I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's crazy. And actually about a month and a half ago, I was talking to my business partner, Ben Kinney, and then I started talking to one of our family members here, Sarita Dua. And I said, probably the guy doing the most, straight up, the most for our industry in terms of driving production is Jeff. And that is because Jeff shows up, is in the business every day. He is inarguably the most productive real estate coach in the industry, right? I know there's lots of coaches in the industry, but this guy does the business and coaches the business. And as we looked at what our network needs more than anything this year, it is just a refocus on activities. It is a refocus on like, how do we do the activities that's going to get the result? Like we talk a lot about mindset, and we talk a lot about sort of focus, and we talk a lot about time management, and all those things are things that you, Jeff, talk about. But here's an individual that started his real estate career at age 19, built now the largest and most productive real estate team in his state, right? His team now is comprised of, I think, 50 somewhat agents. They sold over 1,000 homes last year. But more than anything, probably the most focused on actually getting and procuring business of any real estate coach I know. And so there's no better message for us today than Jeff's message. Many of you know Sarita. Sarita is a coach with Jeff's coaching organization. Again, their organization has my vote as one of the best coaching organizations for real estate agents. So we wanted to introduce you to Jeff as a leader and a doer in our industry. Also his organization and his company, Glover U. Many of us actually have gone to some of his events, arguably, the best events in the industry as well. And we just, we pulled in a favor, honestly, and said, hey, Jeff, could you spend an hour with our group of agents here this morning? And I just thank you, Jeff, for being willing to do so. So with that, Jeff Glover.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to do that. And thank you for the kind introduction. A lot of people ask Jeff, with everything you have going on, why do you still stay in production? And that is a little bit of a unique thing, I guess, about, what we do and what I do with our team. And that's so I can stay sharp. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm going to be giving advice to a great group like yours, and I know, obviously, given your experience and everything that you've done, I know they're getting a ton of great advice already. I need to be able to stay sharp and ahead of all the rest of the real estate coaches out there today. And so I do that through staying in production because I know what you're going through. I know what the buyers are saying. They want to wait for interest rates to come down. They want to wait for prices to come down. I know the sellers are saying they want to wait till spring because they think the market's going to be better. I mean, I know exactly, what you guys are dealing with because I'm in it every day with you. So I'm excited to share. I've got a list and I'm going to get through as many as I can in the 45, 50 minutes that I have. I wrote down essentially the title of this talk, I guess would be the best way to put it, would be ways to win in the new market. And I hope you guys can appreciate, I don't use the term shifting market a lot because let's be honest, the market is always shifting. We can say the market shifted every single year if we wanted to. It shifted good, it shifted bad, it shifted in the middle. This is a very normal market that we're behaving in today. And so I wrote down, based on where we're at today, not even where we were 3 months ago, because I even know in the last, couple 4 to 6 weeks, things have started to pick back up again. And I hope a lot of that is because the interest rates came down. So that's always going to create a little bit of a spark in the market. That doesn't mean that that's the market that we're going to live in for the rest of this year, but certainly that is something that has added to that. So I wrote down ways to win in the new market. And essentially what I did, and I hope you can appreciate this, Chris and Katie, I took a look in the last 6 months. So I went back to July of 2022 to January of 2023. So that's how fresh this is. I went back to July of 2022 to January 2023, and I took a look at all of our buyers and sellers and where that business was coming from. I took a look at the sources. I looked for consistencies. I looked for tendencies. I looked for things that I thought would be worth sharing that stood out. So for the next 45 minutes or so, I'm not just going to share like where business comes from or any sort of kind of theory. I'm going to share how, like the nitty gritty specifics of how we're taking more listings from for sale by owners right now, how we're able to convert more online leads than we were at the same time last year. So are you guys cool with me digging into the how? Can I get like a thumbs up on that? Are you guys good with the how? All right, good. Now, having said that, there's one not so how, although I do have some tactics. There's one not so how thing that I got to get out of the way. And knowing what I know about Chris and your leadership team, this will probably be like, you could turn around and teach this. And that's about what's going on up here. And so one of my points, which I'm going to start off with this point, and then they get tactical after this, but one of my points is actually has to do with right here, because if we don't get that right, then none of the how even matters. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. So ways to win in the new market. Number one, if you would write this down, we must have a bulletproof mindset filled with emotional resilience. We must have a bulletproof mindset filled with emotional resilience. Show of hands, if you've been in the business 5 years or less, just let me see them on the screen or throw them in the chat. 5 years or less in the business, real high, or throw them in the chat. 5 years or less, just put the years. If you're under 5, throw those in the chat so I can see. All right, so it looks like, at least on my screen here, a good, at least third of you are 5 years or less. For those of you that raise your hands, or for those that are 5 years or less in the business, we haven't had to deal with the normal, there we go, 4 years, thank you. We haven't had to deal with the normal emotions, the high highs and the low lows of real estate transactions. And I'll tell you, Chris, and I know you study the market, you're a student of the market, I'm sure you would agree with this. That's one of my biggest concerns for the industry, for those agents that are 5 years or less. Because think about it, in the last market, the seller, they treated the buyers like they had an endless piggy bank, and they didn't care, because you know what? If that buyer doesn't want to buy their house, somebody else will. So there's no emotion there for the sellers when they're looking at that bottom line number. That was a number that was way more than they expected. So their emotions are gone. Buyers, when they get mad at the seller, how dare the seller ask us to pay $100,000 over appraised value, whatever. They couldn't have emotions either, because it was, do you want the house or not? Pick one. So their emotions went out the window. So as agents 5 years or less in the business, you haven't had to deal with the normal high highs and low lows of things we deal with sellers who get emotional when their listing all of a sudden isn't selling. Buyers who get emotional when their lender didn't lock in their rate in time, and now they're paying more in interest rate. So now they want to go back and be tough with the seller because now they have to pay more in interest, and they want some concessions. We didn't have to deal with a lot of that. So moving forward in this new market, I want you to be absolutely mindful of ways to have a bulletproof mindset filled with emotional resilience. And I'm going to give you some tactics to do that. So write these down if you would, please. So how do we have a bulletproof mindset? Number one, stop watching the news and reading threads in Facebook groups. Stop watching the news and reading threads in Facebook groups. Now, I believe you guys probably have an amazing Facebook group where there's a lot of good energy and a lot of good vibes and a lot of positivity. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the bigger kind of national Facebook groups where people are complaining and adding in and they're fighting and they're battling and why you should choose this brokerage over that brokerage and why revenue share is better than profit share. Don't get involved in any of that. That's bad for up here. You can't possibly have positive production with a negative mindset. It just doesn't happen. You can't have positive production with a negative mindset. So stop watching the news and reading negative threads in Facebook groups we'll call this 1A. 1B, start listening to podcasts. Start listening to podcasts. Where are my podcast listeners at? Real high podcasts. Good. So more than half of you. I love that. So some of you might have your favorite podcasts. I know Ben's got a great one, the Win, Make, Give. John Maxwell's got a great one. I don't know if you follow ours. It's called the Live Unreal podcast. We like to think that's a pretty good one. Regardless of One Thing podcast, regardless of the podcast that you listen to, my recommendation is, since you're going to be in the car 5 days a week at least, whether you're driving to an appointment, driving to your office, driving to the grocery store, driving to the dry cleaner, you're going to be in the car 5 days per week. We know that for a fact if you're a full-time realtor. So here's what you do. You have your favorite 5 podcasts. You have your favorite Monday podcast, your favorite Tuesday podcast, your favorite Wednesday podcast, your favorite third. Each day of the week, you have a podcast. Now, if you're wondering, like, Jeff, this is kind of like, okay, this sounds good, but where did you come up with this as like something that'll help my mindset? Watch this. If you ever go to the bigger events, and we encourage agents to get to events, go to your Build How event, go to the family reunion event, consider coming to our event. We encourage people to get to events. Why? Because you're going to rub elbows with, and you're going to meet people that are doing things that you'd like to accomplish. And they were in the same exact position or same exact shoes that you were in at one time. And here's what I know most of them will say. It all starts with mindset, right? It all starts up here. You've heard these cliches. You got to have a checkup from the neck up, right? You've heard pretty much every panelist say that. Well, it starts with a strong mindset. So start listening to podcasts. That's 1B. 1C, quit hanging around negative people. Quit hanging around negative people. I'm in a meeting room. Our region is actually having our awards in the ballroom across the hall here. And Don Yeager, who's a Maxwell speaker, some of you may be familiar with him. He's been around for a long time. He's had the fortune of interviewing greats like John Wooden. And he told the story. John Wooden's number one piece of advice is you got to get into circles. You got to rub elbows with and hang out with people that are doing better than you. He said, you'll never outperform your inner circle. Think about that. Quit hanging around negative people. 1D, get to conferences, get to events. You've got great options to choose from, whether it's KW's or yours or ours, get to conferences. That's where you're going to meet those people. 1E, don't be attached to the outcome. This is a tough one, especially depending on where we're at financially when it comes to a listing or a sale sometimes. Do not be attached to the outcome. You gotta just let it roll off you and move on to the next. I like to use the term, and I'm blessed with one. Chris, I don't know how this happened, but I'm blessed with a short memory. Like I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. You have to manufacture a short memory. You can't dwell and hang on to things for too long, because guess what? You can't, again, have positive production with negative mentality. So 1E is don't be attached to outcome. 1F. Join or create a mindset mastermind or accountability group. Join or create a mindset mastermind or accountability group. Chris, you may remember, because you've been doing this a long time, the last time the market was in the tank, and I'm not suggesting the market's in the tank, but I'm just referencing that, 2008, 2009, 2010, there was actual accountability groups to have a strong mindset because there was so much negativity in the world. There was so much negativity in the market, in the MLS stats and brokers and NAR and your state associations. Everyone's negative. Create a mindset mastermind group, create a mindset accountability group. Those are a few ways to have a strong mindset. That's point number 1. Number 2, and actually I'll share with you, if it's all right, Chris, every day, Monday through Friday, I write a message. It's kind of a mindset message, but it's also tactics. Some of you may already receive it. It's a text message that I send out. It's totally free. And I'll share it with you if you want to drop it in the chat. If you text the word morning to 55444, it's a daily message that goes out. And sometimes it's mindset based. Sometimes it's, hey, I went on an appointment last night and here's what the seller said to me. Here's how I handled it. Sometimes it's a marketing tactic. Anyways, if you text the word morning to 55444, I know it's only 5 digits, but somehow it works. You'll get signed up for that. It's totally free. There's no cost there. It's no spam. And if you don't like my message, you can always reply stop and you'll get removed. Anyways, that's another tactic for perhaps starting your day with a strong mindset. For you West Coasters, and I know you're on the West Coast, a lot of you are on the West Coast. It goes out at about 8:45 Eastern time. All right. So get ready for an early alarm if you're looking for an early alarm clock. Sorry, Sarita. Sarita's probably on somewhere. We always have our coaches calls that early and her screen's always off. I just picture her laying in bed or rolling out of bed. Sorry, Sarita. All right. Number 2, ways to win in the new market. Understand in this new market, again, it's not a good market. It's not a bad market. It's just a normal market. Understand in this new market, my sales skills will be my number 1 asset. In this new market, my sales skills will be my number 1 asset. Now, you might be thinking, well, Jeff, how did you arrive at that? Because watch this. When the market gets a little softer, thank you, Sarita, when the market is normal, consumers actually shop around. And not only do they shop around, but they want the best. Well, I hear interest rates are going up and, I don't want to overpay for a house. So let's make sure we interview a few buyer's agents for the job. Think about this. 2 years ago, a year ago, their criteria, buyer's criteria was this: who can respond the fastest, get us into the home fastest. That's it. Who can respond the quickest and get a showing set up the fastest. That's how we're hiring an agent. Today, who can get me a good deal? Who can get me the best deal? So guess what they do? They start shopping around. Sellers, same thing. Tommy, who just got his license down the street, a brand new licensee, they know that he could sell anything in the last market. So they went with Tommy a lot. A lot of agents, Tommy, whatever his name was, a lot of brand new licensees from down the street got business because the market was so hot today. And Tommy will still be fine, by the way, so long as he's on this webinar and with the Experienced Real Estate Group. A lot of agents, a lot of sellers today are now saying, we probably should shop this around and interview a few agents before we select an agent. So guess what? My sales skills become my number 1 asset. Well, what does this have anything to do with sales skills, Jeff? It has everything to do with sales skills. Because why? Because consumers make a decision. Write this down. Remember this. Consumers make a decision on who they're going to hire based on how you make them feel. Consumers make a decision on who they're going to hire based on how you make them feel. Well, if you're not family or a close friend, how do you make someone feel a certain way? Everything comes out of here. What you say is what causes people to feel a certain way. And that's where sales comes in. So when I'm talking about sales skills, please know I'm not talking cheesy closing lines, press hard, these are cheap carbons. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these 3 things. So when I say getting good at your sales skills, here's what I mean. Getting good at, number 1, write this down. Here's what I mean. When I say getting great at sales skills, here's the 3 things that I'm talking about. Number 1, getting great at asking good questions in a methodical order. Getting great, thanks, Chris, at asking good questions in a methodical order. When you look at a script, don't think that it's, cheesy sales skills script, corny 1990s stuff. A script is a series of good questions that are in an order that's going to get you a good response from the consumer. That's number 1. Number 2, actively listening to their answers. Actively listening to their answers. Now, I know you're saying, Jeff, come on. Like, you only got an hour with us. Are you going to get into the good stuff? Of course I'm going to listen to their answers. No, you're not. Watch. I can prove it to you. Has there ever been a time when you met someone for the first time and within 90 seconds of meeting them, you shook their hand, you looked them in the eye, or gave them a fist bump, whatever. Within 90 seconds of meeting them, you forget their name? That ever happened to anybody? It's happened to all of us. Why is that? Because we're thinking about what we're going to say next. The same thing happens in a sales situation. Instead of actually listening to what they're saying, we're thinking about what we're going to say next. So I just proved to you that you're not actively listening like you should be. Now, let me give you a technique to teach you to be better at active listening. And that's number 3. Write this down. Go 3 deep. Just write down, go 3 deep. I'll show you what I mean. Go 3 deep. So in a normal scripting situation, let's just say this script has 5 questions. 5 questions. Yes, Michigan and Northern Ohio, our average sales price is $100 and some thousand here. So our awards, unfortunately, are at Hilton Garden Inns. I know you guys are probably at Ritz-Carltons and beautiful places, but yes, our regional awards are at a Hilton Garden Inn today. Anyways, no offense to the Hilton Garden Inn. I've said there plenty of times. A typical script, you have questions and they're in order. This is not what my script looks like. Here's what my script looks like. Ready? Question number 1, and then question 1A, question 1B, question 1C, question number 2, question 2A, question 2B, question 2C. That's what my script looks like. Because when the script says, where are you moving to? And question number 2 is, how soon would you like to be there? I'm going from, where are you moving to? Oh, that's awesome. What takes you there? How long have you been planning on moving there? Who else do you know there? How did you pick there? Now I go to number 2. How soon are you looking to get there? And then let's just say the next question on the script is, are you interviewing more agents? Whatever. Nope, I'm not going to that one. What's important about that deadline? What happens if we don't hit that deadline? The questions within the questions is where the value is of, and the difference between an average producer and a great producer is as it relates to being a great salesperson. So moving forward, I want you to think about the questions on the script, and you don't have to do this on every question on the script. Otherwise, you'd be on the appointment or on the phone with them for hours. Just pick a handful of questions on the script that you intentionally go 3 deep on. And 3 deep, again, means you're asking 3 additional questions within the 1 question that's on the script. And the questions that you're asking are based on their answers. Your sales skills will be your greatest asset. Number 3, ways to win in the new market. Instead of introducing a new lead source, I want you to double down on your top lead source. Instead of introducing a new lead source, I want you to double down on your top lead source. This is one of the biggest mistakes. And Chris, I know you've been around the industry a long time and you've seen agents kind of sprinkle around give me a little bit over here. Oh, I can get out in 90 days if it doesn't work over there. Shiny object there. Sign me up. There's a reason why the top producers don't do that. The top producers know where their strength zone is and they stay in it. Maybe your strength zone is database. Maybe your strength zone is online leads. Maybe your strength zone is open houses. Maybe your strength zone is for sale by owners and expireds. They pick a zone and they stick with it instead of introducing a bunch of different sources. Because every time you introduce a new source, you're taking your time and energy away from what it is you already do well. So there's actually 3 ways you can double down. You've heard this term double down. It's kind of used a little generally in our industry. You'll hear someone say, you got to double down on your lead generation, or you got to double down on your database. What does it actually mean? Well, before I give you the 3 ways you can double down, I want you to write this question down and write it down word for word, please. Honestly, am I exhausting all options? Honestly, am I exhausting all options? Honestly, am I exhausting all options of getting business from my best source? Honestly, am I exhausting all options of getting business from my best source? 99 out of 100 of us are going to say no to that, because there's always somebody doing better than you. There's always something else you could be doing differently. So what do I mean by doubling down? I'm going to give you the 3 things that I'm referring to, because there's actually 3 ways you can double down. You can double down through the first one, which is the least popular. It's no one's favorite, but it's effective. I'm sorry. And that is time and effort. You can double down on your time and effort spent. I know some of your hands may tremble as you're writing that one. That's AKA hard work. All right. That's never the popular one. It's never the exciting one, but it's real. You can absolutely double down on your work ethic. Okay. I'll give you, for instance, if I have an agent that I'm coaching today and they say, Jeff, I couldn't believe this, but I actually did pretty good with open houses last year. So, okay, great. How'd you do? Well, I had 12 transactions from open houses. That's awesome. That's like 1 a month from open houses. How many open houses did you do? I did like 20 open houses, got you 12 transactions. That's a pretty good use of your time. Yeah, I think so. And I would like to double. I would like to go from 12 transactions to 24 in 2023. You got any recommendations for me? Yes. My first one is figure out a way to do 40 open houses. That would be an example of doubling down on your time and effort. Now, for me, when I first started in the business, I was prospecting expireds and for sale by owners because I didn't know any different. Somebody handed me a script book and said, have at it. So I went from calling, just a basic example, 1 hour a day to 2 hours a day. Because I had a coach that said, Jeff, if you don't have an appointment to go on today, seriously, what are you even accomplishing? So I went from prospecting at 8 in the morning to 9 in the morning, 1 hour a day, to now 5 to 6 p.m. before I left for the day if I didn't have an appointment to go on. That now became an ism in our world. We say, if I didn't go on an appointment today, seriously, what did I accomplish? And the mindset is, if you're not going out and getting in front of someone every single day, then you might as well stay back and prospect for another hour. That would be an example of doubling down on my time and effort. Again, no one's favorite, but it is effective. The second way you can double down on a source of business is through your resources. Now, resources would be, like spending money on something, or it could be delegating something. Resources would be, like, for instance, I started with expires and for sale by owners. And I thought to myself one day, all right, I'm calling them in the morning. I'm calling them at night when I don't have an appointment. But what about all these people that aren't answering? Well, then I thought, well, why don't I do a direct mail? So I added direct mail. That's an example of staying in my lane. I didn't go do online leads. I didn't go do database. I stayed in my lane of expires and for sale by owners. In addition to calling, I added direct mail. Well, then I thought, well, wait a minute. When I do get pretty good at this stuff, when I'm on appointments, who could be making calls for me? Well, while I'm on an appointment, somebody else could be back in the office making calls for me. So I hired my first ISA. Those are examples of doubling down on your resources. The third way you can double down, and this one is vastly underrated, and that is doubling down on your skill level. Doubling down on your skill level. So you have time and effort, you have resources, and you have your skill level. That could be hiring a coach. That could be signing up for webinars. That could be researching and studying people who are doing what it is you want to do. For those of you, maybe a few of you got a chance to get to our last event in January in Orlando, our Live Unreal Summit event. I shared a copy of the Top Producers Day. And it's like the first time since I've updated it in 10 years. And what people were so fascinated by is the amount of time I put in there for skill building, but not just like practicing and role playing. It was actually researching. If you want to get good at video and social media, researching people who are getting good at social media and studying the copy that they put out there. You actually have to put that as part of your schedule. And then of course you have to put in your schedule the time to produce that if you're going to spend time on social media, which I'll get to some social media tactics in a bit. So way number three is double down on my top lead source in 2023. Okay. Number 4, after I've doubled down on my top lead source, notice I say after I've doubled down on my top lead source, I want you to add expired listings to one of your sources. Only after you double down. Do not go and run and do expires right now. Now, if you're brand new to the business or newer and you're like, Jeff, I don't really have a top lead source, fine. If you want to jump into expires, by all means. It was the very first source I was ever exposed to. But if you're doing pretty well with your database, I would look at what could you be doing better. I'll talk about database in just a minute. But let me give you the 3 keys to succeeding with expires. And by the way, I would not have suggested this source a year ago. Why? Because there were none. The market was so hot, there were none. Now, some of you will say, well, Jeff, the market's still pretty good, so there's not that many. I would say then double the size of your market. If you're an agent working with our team in Michigan, we've been the #1 home selling team in Michigan since 2013 of all brands. You are expected to drive up to 2 hours for an appointment, up to 2 hours. Now, you might say, Jeff, I would never work for your team. So then I would say, okay, well, if I had a check with your name on it for $6,000, which is about the average commission check for us. If I have a check with your name on it for $6,000, and let's just say, for sake of argument, help me out here. How far is Portland from Seattle? Portland, Oregon from Seattle, Washington? 2 hours, 3 hours?
3 hours.
Perfect. If I have a check with your name on it, you're an agent in Portland, Oregon, and it's got your name on it. It's on a front desk of a real estate office up in Seattle, $7,500. It's going to expire at 5 p.m. today. Would you go get it? Or would you say, that's too far. I'd rather stay back and work on my Canva image or work on my next Facebook post. Would you go get that check? Every single one of you would go get that check. So why not drive a couple hours for a listing appointment? Well, it's a different MLS. Join the MLS. That's a different board of realtors. Join the board of realtors. It's a different state. Get a license in a different state. Anyways, 3 keys to succeeding with expires. Ready? We have to understand and buy into this idea that their home didn't sell because of their agent. The home didn't sell because of their agent. None of this, well, Jeff, it didn't sell because the condition was terrible. Well, Jeff, it didn't sell because the price was a little high. No, it didn't sell because of their agent. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's their agent's job to make sure it's in the right condition. It's their agent's job to share with the feedback to help them understand the condition it should be. It's their agent's job to get price reductions if it's not selling. The faster you buy into the fact that it was their agent's fault, not the market's, because they think it was the market, they think it was their house, they think it was everything but their agent. Number two, we have to help them understand, this is 3 keys to succeeding with expireds. We have to help them understand that a different plan is all they need. All you need is a different plan. All you need is a different plan. And I want you to write this script down because you're going to get this response a lot, especially if you decide to work expired listings. Because you're going to hear, well, Jeff, don't you guys all do the same things? Watch. If we all did the same things, wouldn't we all get the same results? If we all did the same things, wouldn't we all get the same results? Exactly. And number 3, we have to get them back to where they were in terms of motivation when they first listed. Don't be talking to expireds about getting their home back on the market. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want showings. They don't want to sign in the yard. They don't want to deal with any of that. Talk about where they were going. Had your home sold? Where were you moving to? What took you there? Get them excited again about where they were going. Methods of working expireds. You're familiar with the first handful. You know you can call expireds. Did you know you can text them? You should text them. I'm going to give you a great text and email script that works like a charm. You want to increase your average contacts per hour, which we talk about constantly with our clients. You got to get your contacts per hour up. You got to get your contacts per hour up. Why? Because it's all about being efficient in the amount of time that you're working. Be more efficient than the agent working next to you. I'm going to give you a good text and email script to use with expireds. Subject line, ready? If it's an email, subject line, are you ... question mark. Subject line, are you ... question mark. Body of the email, ready? Still accepting offers on your home on blank street, question mark. Are you still accepting offers on your home on blank street, question mark. That email will get you more responses than any other. There's so many agents today that are sending, hey, 17 reasons why homes don't sell. Here's the 9 things we do to sell homes. That's all boilerplate stuff. Simpler the better. And it's even better if you send it from your phone. If it looks like you just typed it on your phone. Same thing with your text message. Your text message, hi, this is blank with blank, first name, last name. You can even say your company. And I was wondering if you're still accepting offers on your home on blank street. Hi, this is blank with blank. And I was wondering, are you still accepting offers on your home on blank street? Now, I have a lot of people at this point in time raise their hand and say, well, what do you say when they say, yeah, great, calling you in a few. Great, calling you in a few. And get them on the phone and use the expired script. All of our scripts, by the way, are online, gloveru.com. You can find all of them. They're there. They're free to download. Call, text, email. Visit at their door, face-to-face. Do you know face-to-face is more effective today? Here's what's so fascinating, Chris, and I know you've been doing this a long time, so you appreciate it. This is like door knocking is like this traditional 1990s technique, right? Yes, and door knocking actually after 9/11 and so forth, the effectiveness of door knocking did drop. No doubt, people weren't checking their front door. People would peek out of the curtain and ignore you. There's no doubt that happened. Today, it's the opposite. More people are opening their front door today than ever. Think about it. You will accept a bag of Taco Bell ripped open from a driver that you don't even know, and you'll eat that bag of Taco Bell, won't you? And it's from some stranger that showed up at your front door. Door knocking today is more effective. Why? Because people are more open to strangers showing up at their door than ever before. I remember back in the day when people weren't answering their front door, I'd have to slip my marketing material under their garage door. Because I'd show up to their front door and they'd have cobwebs on their doorbells because nobody opened their front doors. That was a real thing. Today, people are opening their front doors now more than ever. The last couple of things on expireds, social media. You can find these guys on social media. All you do is take their email address, put it into Google, hit search. You're going to pull up their social media channels. All right. And then geofencing. You can market around a property that comes off the market. You can use Google advertising to geofence homes that come off the market. Now for the next 3 months or for the next 6 months, they're seeing all of your ads on Google. Just like when you go into a store and after you leave the store, you're getting served ads from that store, same concept. You can geofence around their house every single listing that has expired, or at least the ones that you want to go after. Okay, that's enough about expireds. Let me get into the next one here. Okay. Let's talk database for just a second. So consumer loyalty, one thing I'm concerned about in the industry, and I'm sure you guys are paying attention to it as well. Consumer loyalty has declined to real estate agents. There's no doubt about it. They have so many choices today. They can click around online, and next thing you know, someone's sitting at their front kitchen or at their kitchen table writing them an offer. There's less loyalty from consumers to the database today. So if you want to increase your database business, for those you database fanatics, you want to increase your database business, there's a very simple formula. Don't laugh. It's so simple that you're going to be like, well, duh, why didn't I think of that? There's actually 3 ways you can increase business from your database. Write these down. Number 1, you can add more value to the people that are already there. You can add more value to the people that are already there. And what I would do, and this is something that we've been encouraging agents to do for years, is complete what we call a database audit. A database audit is where you look at, in the last 12 months, what did you do with your database that you honestly look at and say, would I have gotten value from that? That's what we mean by database audit. What did you do in the last 12 months? And look at everything you did, everything you emailed, everything you mailed, everything you did, your events, and ask yourself, would I even like the little goodie bag that you give them when they check in you for your client event? Honestly, would you have kept that, or would you have tossed it in the trash? Do a database audit. And here's how I know it's been a minute since some of you have done a database audit. Watch this. In 2022, if you still sent an email to your database reminding them to set the clocks back, it's probably time for a database audit. Think about it. I know we all get emails from lenders and loan officers and mortgage companies and title companies and all these people reminding us to set our clocks back. Were you grateful? Were you like, oh my gosh, that I can't believe that was so nice of them. I would have never known that it's daylight savings time. That is so great. No, the clocks set themselves back automatically. You weren't grateful for that. So honestly, do a database audit and look at how can you add more value this year, number 1. Number 2, how can you add more people to your database? And we just say, make it a daily habit. That's my best advice for that, for you there. Just make it a daily habit. Okay. And number 3, do 1 and 2 simultaneously. Make it a daily habit to add people. If you were to ever listen to one of our 7:30 a.m. accountability calls, our agents report, contacts made, appointments set, appointments gone on, contract signed from the previous day. And number 5, we added number 5 about 4 years ago, add to database. How many people did you add to the database yesterday? Consciously think about who you can be adding daily, and then do an audit. Honestly, is what you're doing adding value to that group? All right, let me share with you some social media tactics. I'm looking at the time here. I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you one more before I get to social media. Ways to win in the new market. I said I was going to share something with you with online leads. Chris, are you guys following with, or are you familiar with the ALM model? I would imagine you're familiar with it, or maybe some of your agents are following it.
Teach us.
All right, good. So the ALM model, write this down. Ready? Appointment first. Location second. Motivation third. Appointment first. Location second. Motivation third. Moving forward, and I know this goes against conventional wisdom, so I usually have to tell the old school brokers in the room. By the way, I'm an old school broker. I've been doing this 21 years, so I get it. Moving forward, I want you to stop trying to convince buyers to meet you for a buyer consultation on your first call. Knock it off. They don't want that. They can get a showing through an app. They can click a button and get a showing set up. Stop talking about the buyer consultation on the first call. Now, I didn't say don't do a buyer consultation. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is don't bring up the buyer consultation on your first call. In fact, go for the appointment to show the house first. If somebody inquires on a property, go for the appointment first. If you download our scripts, which I think they share that in the chat, you'll see in the buyer lead script, the very first line is, thanks for calling on 123 Banana Street. When would you like to see it? Give them what they want. Everyone else, they can go get it elsewhere if you don't. Give them what they want. So appointment first, location second, then talk about where else they're looking. Motivation third, then get into how long they've been looking and what lender they're working with and what loan program they're doing. Talk about all that second and third. Do not close for your buyer consultation first. Close for the appointment to show the house first. All right. Who doesn't want to live on Banana Street? I agree. I love Banana Street. Okay. That's the ALM model. I'm telling you, we've used it now for 2 years in our business. We went from maybe 350 or so buyer sides per year to now about 450 buyer sides per year. And everyone's like, well, did you buy more leads? Nope. We actually spend less money on leads today than we did 2 years ago. We switched to the ALM model. Close for the appointment first. Get face-to-face with them as fast as you can. If you still want to do the buyer consultation before you meet with them, I have no problem with that. What I would suggest is you set that up on call number 2. When you call to let them know, yep, hey, good news. The seller has confirmed our showing. I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock. By the way, why don't I swing by your house first? Another tip there. You want to get more listings? Do the buyer consultation, not at your office. I know that they've been teaching us that for years. Do it at their home. You want to get more listings? Close for a buyer consultation at their current place of residence. You'll get more listings that way. Why? Because while I'm there, I'll take a look around and give you some suggestions of things we can do to help this place show better and maybe put more money in your pocket. Would that be a win for you? Yeah, that sounds good. Great. I'll see you over at your house an hour before the showing. We'll chat for a few and then we'll head over to the showing. Well, Jeff, a lot of times when I'm setting up appointments for buyers, it shows that they're pending. Stop telling the buyers it's pending. You don't know that it's pending. Just because the MLS says it's pending doesn't mean it's pending. Set the appointment. They want to see the house on Banana Street. Your MLS says it's pending. You say, great. When would you like to take a look at it? 5 o'clock sounds great. You go and you see it's pending. Oh, bummer. You call the listing agent. Hey, by chance, is that thing available? Hey, funny you should call. It's actually getting ready to come back on the market. Now you're the hero. Don't go right into the deals pending because guess what? They got what they need from you or they didn't, and they'll just move on. All right. Let's jump forward to some social media tactics today. Right now, I don't know what number I'm on, but we'll just say way to win number next. Okay. We have to get better, write this down, at treating our personal social media profiles as our database. We have to get better at treating our personal social media profiles as our database. I'm not talking about your business pages. I'm talking about your personal profiles, your personal Instagram, your personal Facebook. You have to look at your Instagram followers as potential. All of those are potential clients. You have to look at your Facebook friends as all of those are potential clients or past clients, which means you should be adding everybody, tagging your clients when you take a listing, when you help them sell a home or at their closing. It's going to go out to all their other friends. All right, let me get into some of these tactics here. Under treat my personal social media profiles as part of my database. Go ahead and write down hamburger, not hot dog. Hamburger, not hot dog. I'll tell you what I mean by that. And actually, I tell the story and people are like, no, they didn't teach us that in our elementary school. Okay. Do you remember in elementary school, they said, kids, this is my elementary school. We're going to be writing out on paper today, turn your paper hot dog or hamburger. Okay. With social media, you're taking photos, hamburger style, not hot dog. This does not bode well for engagement on social media. You don't scroll social media like this, do you? No, you scroll up and down and up and down. This version is a hot dog style photo. It's going to get better engagement. Also, speaking of better engagement, selfies will always do better than group photos. So instead of saying, here, would you take a picture of us? No. Hey, let me get a picture. Come on in. Everyone come on in. Pinch, poke the screen, pinch it, squeeze it in. So hey, everyone come in here. Those photos always get better engagement than group photos. Okay, same thing with your clients. Hey guys, why don't I take a picture of you holding the key to your new house? Nope. Guys, get over here. Let's grab a quick photo. Hold up the keys. You'll get better engagement, more clicks, more likes, more comments. Hamburger, not hot dog. No group photos anymore. Selfies when possible. All right, next. Make sure you're following a social media calendar, which means stop posting haphazardly. Follow a social media calendar. Stop posting haphazardly. A social media calendar. What do I mean by that? So basically we have things that come up throughout the day where we're like, oh my gosh, I got a great idea for a great post. I'm going to do it right now. This is perfect. You know, you start typing, you got the photo, you put a little filter on it, whatever you do, and then you post it. And then, darn it, I can't believe that was a really good idea for a post. I can't believe it's not getting more engagement. Well, if I was coaching, I'd say, well, what was your post prior to that? Well, I posted something in the morning. You know, my dog wouldn't eat his food and therefore he went outside and I couldn't get him in. I did a little video of it. It was kind of cute. All right. And what did you follow it up with? Well, I followed it up with something about my lunch. the problem is that you have to mix your personal and business posts, and you have to, instead of, when you have a good idea for a post, don't just post it in the moment. Document it, save the photo, store a note in your phone. I mean, I will email myself, or I'll put it in my calendar. I'll just put a couple words to trigger a thought. That'll be my post tonight at 8 o'clock. And sometimes I'll actually catch myself. I actually did this yesterday. I had a post ready to go yesterday and I almost hit send. And instead, what did I do? I copied and pasted. Because why? I went back and looked at my Instagram and Facebook. I had 3 business posts in a row, and I was about to do a 4th. Not good for engagement. So instead of posting haphazardly, follow a social media calendar. By the way, we have one. I'll share it with you guys. If you go to gloveru.com/social. By the way, we have like a 12-page guide on social media. A lot of the stuff I'm sharing with you, you guys can get. It's for free. gloveru.com/social. You'll see our social media calendar in there that we use. Also on social media, if you're not already doing this, create a very important client Facebook group. A very important client Facebook group. You've heard of neighborhood Facebook groups. These have been around for probably 5 years. We've been teaching audiences this for a while. Very important client Facebook group is a place where all my clients live. My sphere of influence, my past clients, they're all in there. And I go live. I give market updates in there. I use that little stupid calendar that has, like, you know, the National Hot Dog Day, or the National Day for Coffee, National Margarita Day. National Margarita Day. I got an idea. I'm going to go live in the Facebook group. Hey guys, your realtor, Jeff Glover here. I don't know if you know or not. I know next week is Columbus Day, and that's a pretty big day. But do you know what else is another big day next week? National Margarita Day. So comment below with your favorite tequila, because I'm going to give away a bottle of your favorite tequila. I'm going to do the drawing right here at this same place, same time next week. Let me see your favorite tequila in the comments. Let's see who's going to win. Now you're creating all this engagement and within your own Facebook group of your own clients. You can make the most amazing post on social media. You can put a mailing together and send it out. Today, treating your personal social media profiles as part of your database is the way to stay in front of them. It's like the modern day pop by, right? You guys might be familiar with the pop by technique, right? You pop by their house, you say, hey, I was in the neighborhood, whatever. The modern day pop by is staying in front of them through personal social media. All right, a couple more on this. Take advantage of Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels are hot right now. Instagram is showing your Reels to as many people as possible. Heck, I had a BlackBerry up until like 5 years ago, and I still have an Android, and I can figure out how to do an Instagram Reel. If I can figure out how to do an Instagram Reel, you guys can too. The reason why Instagram Reels are so hot right now is because Facebook and Instagram, they're the same, are in a battle with TikTok, and they're doing everything they can to keep their users off of TikTok. So what are they doing? Well, they know that you get that little hit of dopamine when your stupid video gets all sorts of views and all sorts of clicks and all sorts of engagement. And you know they know what they're doing, because you'll actually get a notification that said, hey, your last video got 100 views. Would you like to create another? They're doing everything they can to keep you on their platform. And you know what? While they're doing it, take advantage of it, because they're pushing out your stuff to people that wouldn't normally see it. Take advantage of the Instagram Reels right now. Okay, a couple quick rules on social media. Stop sharing back and forth from your business page. There's no value in doing that. You know, you'll make a post on your Facebook business page and then you'll share it to your personal. Just create a new one. Stop doing that. Also, don't get mad. Stop using Canva on your personal profiles. Canva is hurting your engagement. Seriously. You can use it on your business profiles, that's fine, but don't use it on your personal ones. It's hurting your engagement. Think about it for a second, okay? If I have an ad or an image, and this image, let's just pretend this is a copy of our magazine. Some of you guys might subscribe to it. It's free also. If I'm looking at an image and it's got words on it, and it's got a logo on it, and it's got a .com on it, and it's got a little clever saying to it, Facebook and Instagram knows that you're trying to sell their audience something. So what do? They hide your post. So Canva is actually hurting your engagement. Instead, use raw photos. Use an actual photo. Like if I were to change this up, I would just take this picture of this guy. His name's Jay Baer. I would take this picture and I would post it just with a caption. Stop putting words and phrases and .coms and phone numbers and all this stuff on your images. It's actually hurting your engagement. And the last thing I'll tell you on social media, actually, I got 2 more on social media. Promote your buyer success stories now more than ever. Okay, you're used to promoting seller success stories. I get it. I want you to start promoting your buyer success stories. And then next, I want you to become a master at short form and long form video. Become a master at short form and long form video. I don't have enough time to get into all of that. You can Google short form video, what that means. You can Google long form video, what that means. That's not going away. Get good at both of those. All right. Thoughts, questions, comments. Where do I go from here, Chris and Katie? I know that was rapid fire.
Jeff, that was a lot of information in a very short period of time. Like I can't even get my words out as fast as you talk. Thank you. Thank you
Sure.
for giving us your time today. Thank you for giving us your knowledge today. If somebody wanted to get in contact with you or go to like find one of your events, how would they find you?
Best thing would be, either on Instagram or Facebook at Realtor Jeff Glover is my handle, at Realtor Jeff Glover. So just at Realtor, first name, last name, or just gloveru.com is all of our stuff, all of our free, we give away more than we charge for. So you don't have to pay for anything. You could have enough resources from us to last you for the next 5 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you for giving us your
Yes.
time
And
today.
Sarita knows our stuff inside and out. Absolutely. Take advantage of her as well.
So if you can't get Jeff, get Sarita. She's local. So yeah, thank you, Jeff, for giving us your time today, giving us your knowledge today. We appreciate you. And thank you everybody else who joined us. If you didn't catch every word that Jeff said today, look for the recap of this. And we will send out the recording and all of the notes and resources that Jeff shared with us today. And we hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. Bye,
Awesome.
everyone.
Go kick some ass today, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Jeff.